Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today, I'm going to go my review of Monday Night Raw. Starting off the night, we got CM Punk. CM Punk comes down to the ring, grabs a microphone. Punk talks about his goals. Punk says that one of his goals was to be world champion. Punk says that Gunther is one of the best. Punk promises to give everything that he has against his match with Gunther at SummerSlam. After that, Gunther is here. Gunther interrupts CM Punk. Gunther grabs a microphone and says that him and Punk have a lot in common. That they're both here for the money and the championships. Gunther says that the best in the world holds the world title. Gunther promises to destroy CM Punk at this year's SummerSlam. Some interesting stuff there between CM Punk and the current World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther. Moving on from that, we go into our first official match of the night. It is Rusev taking on Sheamus. I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup between Rusev and Sheamus, with Rusev keeping the pace of the match. Rusev and Sheamus both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Rusev hitting a fall-away slam on Sheamus to the outside, sending Sheamus over the announce table. Sheamus then goes for a bro kick, but Rusev then counters it with a devastating powerbomb on Sheamus for a near fall. Rusev then applies an accolade on Sheamus in the middle of the ring, but Sheamus breaks the hold. Sheamus then throws Rusev into the exposed turnbuckle. This allowed Sheamus to hit a bro kick on Rusev. Pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Sheamus. Hats off to Sheamus for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a number 1 contendership tag team matchup, or a triple threat tag team. It is the New Day taking on the American Made versus LWO. I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup between the New Day, American Made, and LWO, with the American Made keeping the pace of the match. Del Toro hits a Poison Rana on Brutus in the middle of the ring, followed by Americano, who was ringside. He's attacked by Dragon Lee. Wild ends up hitting a roll-up on Kofi Kingston in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3. And your winners of the match and the new number 1 contenders to the World Tag Team Champions are the LWO. Hats off to the LWO for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch comes down to the ring, grabs a microphone. Becky says that she wants respect for her name. Becky also talks about evolution. Becky then mocks Lyra. Then Becky calls out Lyra Valkyria. Lyra comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone. Lynch says at WrestleMania, if Lyra loses, she will never challenge for the Women's Intercontinental Championship again. Lyra Valkyria then doubles down on that and says that it will be herself versus Becky Lynch at SummerSlam in a no disqualification match. Lyra says that there must be a winner. After that, Lyra then attacks Becky Lynch. Speaking of Lyra Valkyria, we go into our tag team matchup. We got Lyra Valkyria teaming up with Bayley to take on Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez for the women's tag team titles. I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup between both teams, with Raquel and Perez keeping the pace of the match. Lyra hits a leg drop off the top rope for a near fall, followed by Lyra hitting a power bomb on Roxanne Perez. Bayley then hits an elbow drop off the top rope on Roxanne Perez for a near fall. Raquel then goes for a big boot on Lyra on the outside, but missed and hit Dominic Mysterio. Raquel then requests medical personnel to check on Dom. Lynch then attacks Lyra Valkyria ringside. Bayley hits a Bayley to belly in the middle of the ring, but Raquel hits a Tahana bomb on Bayley in the middle of the ring. Pins for the 3, and your winners of the match and still women's tag team champions are Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. Hats off to Rodriguez and Perez for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into a grudge match. It is Sami Zayn taking on Karrion Kross. I thought it was a good match, man. Back and forth matchup between Zayn and Kross, with Kross keeping the pace of the match. Zayn hits a springboard moonsault to the outside, taking out Karrion Kross. Scarlett, who was ringside, attacks Sami Zayn with the referee being distracted, but Zayn hits an exploder suplex on Kross into the turnbuckle. Scarlett then gives Kross a pipe with the referee being distracted. Zayn then goes for a haluva kick on Kross, but Kross ends up hitting Zayn with the pipe. Referee doesn't see it. Kross goes for the cover, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Karrion Kross. Hats off to Karrion Kross for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night, possible match of the night. It is Io Sky taking on Stephanie Vaquer. I thought it was a great match. Back and forth matchup with Io keeping the pace of the match. Io and Stephanie both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Io hitting a springboard moonsault to the outside, taking out Stephanie. Stephanie then hits a devil's kiss on Io off the apron. Alba Fire and Piper Niven are here. Stephanie then attacks Alba Fire and Piper Niven, but Green attacks Stephanie. Match ends in a disqualification. Io then attacks Alba Fire and Piper Niven. Naomi is here. She attacks Io Sky. All of a sudden, Rhea's music hits. She comes out to the ring, and Rhea attacks Piper Niven, Alba Fire, and Naomi, pretty much saving Io and Stephanie in the middle of the ring. Moving on from that, we have Paul Heyman with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. He comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone. Heyman says that Reed and Breaker are the future of this business. But Paul Heyman is quickly interrupted by the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. He is here. He walks down to the ring, grabs a microphone. Heyman tells Roman that Rollins is going to be out for quite some time. Heyman seemingly trying to recruit Roman to be their new leader. Heyman says that Roman will always be family. Heyman then acknowledges Roman Reigns as a tribal chief. Roman says that Heyman is no longer a wise man, but just instead a dumbass. Roman then warns Breaker and Reed of Paul Heyman. Tells them that Heyman will turn his back on them. Roman says that he's the tribal chief because of the fans. Roman then praises the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and Sami Zayn. This obviously ticked off Braun Breaker. Roman says that he went home to raise the future bloodline. Roman tells Breaker to back up. Roman says Heyman was family, and Heyman thought and threw it all away. Roman says that Heyman destroyed the bloodline. Breaker then says WWE doesn't want Roman. He's old news. And that there's a new big dog in town. Roman then mocks Breaker, followed by Roman attacking Breaker and Bronson Reed. Breaker hits a spear on Roman in the middle of the ring. Jey Uso is here. Jey Uso fights off Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Some interesting stuff there between Jey, Roman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. Couple of things I'm going to talk about, man, when it pertains to Monday Night Raw before I get the hell up out of here. Number one, it was a solid show, man. To be honest with you, I loved the segment in the beginning of the show. We had CM Punk come out to the ring. He's a new number one contender to Gunther's World Heavyweight title. That matchup will take place at this year's SummerSlam, taking place at MetLife Stadium. I think it's going to be an incredible match, man. For what it's worth, I think CM Punk, this could be the summer of Punk. Punk could walk in MetLife Stadium, SummerSlam, and walk out World Heavyweight Champion. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be upset with that at all. Because the thing of it is, man, CM Punk came back into WWE with one goal and one goal in mind. Obviously, he wanted to make money. But he also wanted to win championships. And this is a perfect opportunity for CM Punk to kind of get that goal and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. I think it would, if him walking in and walking out SummerSlam as the new World Heavyweight Champion would be a huge shock to the fans around for WWE. It would be a big, big deal, a big business for WWE if CM Punk does walk out of SummerSlam as the new World Heavyweight Champion. I don't think it affects Gunther at all whatsoever. So it's a high-profile matchup. And we got to remember this, that SummerSlam this year is not only one night, but 2 nights, August 2nd and August 3rd, live out of the MetLife Stadium. So obviously this show is going to be stacked. And I'm going to go on a limb here and say this. I think SummerSlam this year, even though we have 2 nights of SummerSlam this year for the first time ever in WWE history, I think SummerSlam is going to overtake what we saw at WrestleMania 41 this past year. I genuinely believe that. I think SummerSlam, both Night 1, Night 2, will be better than WrestleMania 41. In my honest opinion, the way they're stacking this up, the way the matches are slowly starting to come together, I do see a tag team matchup here between Roman and Jey taking on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, which I predicted last week. I think this is going to happen. I think we're going to get a tag match here between Roman and Jey taking on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker at SummerSlam this year. Because you got to understand, man, they got 2 nights of SummerSlam that they had to fill out. We got John Cena and Cody Rhodes in a rematch for the Universal title. We have seemingly Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch in a no disqualification match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We have Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez defending the women's tag team titles against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. We have LWO as a new number one contenders for the tag team titles. I can also see that being a part of the SummerSlam weekend. There's also an announcement from Adam Pearce or from Dominic Mysterio himself that he will be defending his Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles at this year's SummerSlam as well. So SummerSlam is starting to look very, very well, with also Gunther defending his World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk. So it's going to be incredible, man. I think SummerSlam this year is going to shock a lot of people. I think it's going to be a really anticipated show. Like I said, it's 2 nights, August 2nd, August 3rd, live from the MetLife Stadium. It's going to be incredible. I think it's going to be a really good show. I think it's going to be better than WrestleMania 41. Might be a hot take for a lot of people, but I can see it, man. I think WrestleMania 41 was one of the worst WrestleManias I've seen in a very long time. Very long time. And the fact that they're going back to Vegas, back to Allegiant Stadium, as a fan of WWE, you have to worry a little bit considering what they gave us the first time. You know what I mean? So we're going to see how it plays out. I know Roman, the other thing too is I know Roman's going to be on Raw, I think every Monday Night Raw leading up to SummerSlam this year. So Roman's definitely having a match at this year's SummerSlam. But it's probably going to be announced probably sometime next week that it will be probably Jay teaming up with Roman to take on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. That's just the match to make. I know some people are speculating that we might see the return of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson being a part of this somehow. I don't want to see The Rock. You know what I mean? To me, The Rock, after what happened at WrestleMania 41, I don't want to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson involved at all in any kind of storylines at WWE. Because no offense, WrestleMania 41, he should have been there, and he wasn't. And WrestleMania 41 just dropped the fucking ball. I don't want to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson nowhere near this situation here with Roman and Paul Heyman. I just don't. It's a waste of fucking time. It's a waste of everybody's energy. It's just not needed. It's just not needed at all. He wants to be a part of WWE and be a part of the board of directors. That's fine. But he needs to stay in the background. He does not need to be on TV, taking away TV time away from current superstars that are begging to get TV time on Monday Night Raw or if not on SmackDown. We do not need to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But that being said, obviously we got Naomi as well. Naomi's defending her title at SummerSlam as well against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. It's going to be a very highly anticipated matchup. Naomi's, I believe, first title defense with the Women's World Heavyweight title. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. I think Tiffany Stratton will defend her title against Jade Cargill as well. I think Jade's the number one contender for Tiffany Stratton. So, for what it's worth, man, SummerSlam is going to be absolutely incredible this year. And I'm expecting a lot. I'm expecting a lot to happen. Some great moments, some good matches, and I think it will surpass WrestleMania 41. I'm going to go on a limb and say it. I think WrestleMania 41 was shit, and I think SummerSlam is going to be our WrestleMania this year, to be honest with you. It's going to take away all the shit that we saw at WrestleMania 41, to be honest with you. Because, honestly, WrestleMania 41 was shit. It was not entertaining. It was one of the worst WrestleManias I've ever seen in quite some time. So I'm hoping this year SummerSlam is going to knock it out of the park. And the way that this card's stacking up for both Night 1 and Night 2, it's going to be a very, very good night for WWE as a whole. So definitely looking forward to that. Like I said, SummerSlam takes place from the MetLife Stadium, I believe August 2nd as well as August 3rd. So definitely anticipating that show. I think it's going to be really good. And like I said, man, the card looks stacked from top to bottom. But like I said, man, Monday Night Raw wasn't a bad show. Obviously the highlight of the night was Roman, this back and forth banner between Roman and Paul Heyman. Roman telling Paul Heyman that he was the responsibility on why, he was the reason behind the bloodline ending the way it did. Roman saying that they brought Heyman in, he was like family to Roman, and how he kind of just turned his back on him and chose his old buddy CM Punk and how it messed everything up. So, obviously there's some hostility there between Roman and Paul Heyman. He also praised Paul Heyman. He said that if it wasn't for Heyman, the title run probably wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? And he really did push Roman to be the tribal chief. So, Roman did give him his props, even though it wasn't, he wasn't really, celebrating Paul Heyman, but he did give Paul Heyman his flowers for sure. But we're going to see how it plays out, man. The other thing, too, is, I know Survivor Series is not until November, but we're going to see how this is going to play out because I've already made predictions that we're going to see another Civil War 2.0 here between the Bloodline at War Games, where you're going to see Solo and the MFTs versus Jacob Fatu, maybe Jimmy Uso, Jay, Roman, maybe Zilla Fatu makes his long-awaited, hopefully, WWE debut, and he aligns himself up with Jacob Fatu. I think it'll be absolutely incredible. I know Zilla Fatu was recently on a TNA pay-per-view. I think it was Slammiversary. He did a great job. And I don't think he's actually signed a contract with TNA from what I understand. So it'd be great to see him on the main roster and align himself up with Jacob Fatu 5-on-5 for the War Games this year at Survivor Series. I just think that's the way that, the direction of where everything's going. But Jacob Fatu needs a team. And right now it's just Jacob Fatu and maybe Jimmy Uso. So there's 3 more guys that he needs to have a full team going into this year's War Games. So we're going to see how it plays out, especially with Roman. Maybe Jey Uso gets involved as well. So it's going to be very telling to see how this is going to play out, especially after SummerSlam leading into this year's Survivor Series. But I thought Monday Night Raw was good. And like I said, I mean, the big elephant in the room obviously was Roman Reigns. The back and forth banner between him and Paul Heyman. You know, him attacking Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Jey Uso was also involved as well by, you know, pretty much saving Roman from the attack from Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. So I think, for what it's worth, at this year's SummerSlam, we are possibly going to see, more than likely, a tag team matchup here with Roman teaming up with Jey Uso, taking on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. But with that being said, this is my review of Monday Night Raw. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic. Peace.